Welcome to the Know. I'm Brian.
I'm Ben.
Red Dead Redemption 2, easily one of the most anticipated games of the year. No question about it. It's on the top of my list. If I'm off for like a month in October, you'd be like, where the fuck is Brian? It's because I'm playing Red Dead 2.
I'm taking a month off in October.
Are you really?
No,
That's
I'm going to take like a
badass.
week or two. But either way, we've seen a lot of trailers for Rockstar's latest release. They've been all in on the cinematics, great variety of different trailers, but all movie, fleshing out the game's story about the outlaw Arthur Morgan and his escapades with the Dutch Vanderlyn gang.
But that all changed on Thursday, today, when we got our first look at some sweet gameplay footage. We finally got some pew, 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 pew. It's our first chance to see the game in action, thanks to a narrated trailer from Rockstar.
And there's a lot to dig into, so let's just jump right into it. We're going to break the trailer down into a few categories and then talk a little bit about each one.
Okay, first up, let's talk about the game's world, which in many ways, it kind of seems like the star of the whole game.
Midwest? Old West.
Yeah.
It's set in the U.S. in the turn of the century as the 1800s were giving way to the 1900s. It was a period in history when the Wild West was drawing to a close and a more modern civilization was being born.
The world of Red Dead Redemption 2 might as well be a separate character in the game because it is vast and gorgeous. There are a variety of biomes from mountains, forests, swamps, deserts. It's got everything.
There's also a mix of like rural towns all the way to more modern cities.
Yeah.
So towns definitely won't be cut and pasted over and over. This is going to be some variety, which is awesome.
Right. And relatively modern cities.
Right.
Like, they're not cars and shit, but like, it's, you know, they've got movie theaters, they got brothels. It's great. You'll love it. As for the countryside, it's full of wildlife that's divided into predatory animals, prey, and of course, scavengers. Hunting, it's going to be a big part of the game. You'll be able to get food for your camp, or you can sell your pelts for cash and go out and get drunk or gamble. Just the finer things in life.
All the fun weekend things.
Yeah. You'll also, we saw in the trailer, you'll be able to track animals that you've wounded, but you still need to finish off.
Overall, the world is incredibly detailed, and it looks like Rockstar has put a lot of work into making it respond to your actions. We see examples of that in the trailer, like birds scattering from a roof after you fire a shot, and dirt being kicked up as the horses gallop past the camera.
Yeah, it looks awesome. All right, now let's talk about your gang, because that's a big part. As the trusted senior gun in the Vanderlyn outfit, you and your criminal accomplices, you're going to be constantly on the run. You're going to be just one step ahead of the law, at least ideally.
Every time you flee a town, you'll set up a camp.
Okay.
The camp looks like it will be your sanctuary. You eat, sleep, interact with your fellow gang members, have a drink, just kind of be able to talk back and forth.
Kind of like your house in GTA.
Yeah, exactly.
Like your pad. We see shots of gang members playing a poker game with each other, so that looks like it's going to be a mini game. Also, you sit around the campfire, sing songs, tell stories. You know, just have a great time with
Camping
your buddies.
escapades. It also looks like you'll need to hunt to keep the camp supplied with food in order to keep morale high. There are also chores to be done. You know, why not?
What kind of stories are they going to tell each other? Hey, remember when we murdered that person? Yeah, that was
went to
awesome.
the brothel afterwards.
Yeah,
It was great.
oh, life is sweet. You'll also interact with your fellow gang members and do side quests with them. In one scene, we see a gang member asking you to, quote, go and redistribute some property with him, which sounds like an invitation for like a robbery side quest.
Sure.
Something like that.
I'm all in. We also see shots of Arthur looking over a map with the rest of the group, drinking with fellow gang members, and possibly visiting a prostitute.
Ooh la la. The element also of player choice looks to play a huge role in the game. The video didn't show dialogue trees, but it emphasized the various actions you can take while controlling Arthur Morgan. You'll be able to intimidate people, talk a lot of shit, escalate situations, or if you're being confronted by a local lawman, kind of sweet talk your way down, diffuse the situation.
In one scene of the video, it also looks like the dueling system of the previous game might be making a return.
Yeah, it kind of looks like he's squared off. You see like an over the shoulder and it looks like you're about to duel. Yeah, I lost that duel right now. The game will also change based on what you do. In another scene, we see a robbery taking place, but Arthur chooses not to get involved. In another, we see him get yelled at by a woman for killing her family member. He also passes by a man. He's just hanging by his fingers off the side of a cliff, so you can either be a good guy or let him fall to his death.
Simba!
You got prostitutes to see. Yeah.
It definitely looks like your actions will have lasting consequences on the relationships you make and how you're viewed by the world's inhabitants.
Okay, combat. That's a huge part, obviously, of any Red Dead game. As for combat, the trailer says that shooting and fighting have been radically improved to make combat deep and engaging.
We see multiple scenes of fist fighting, and combat looks deeper than the previous game, as evidenced by one scene where you can see Arthur blocking a flurry of fists with his forearms. It also looks like you'll be able to do some kicking ass. You know,
of course.
Use your feet
kicking.
and legs.
Yeah, and you can kick ass with those kicks. Of course, guns are the main attractions. Each weapon will have unique characteristics. like realistic reloading and recoil. We see him like polish his gun at one point. That's not a euphemism. He was really just polishing his gun.
We see Arthur holding a sniper rifle and also shots of him quickly reloading a revolver and a shotgun, so some variety in weapons. Another interesting point we noticed from the video, you can see Arthur quickly switch from one weapon, a pistol, to a shotgun that was previously in his offhand.
Yeah, he was like doing some, not dual wielding, but like, quick
swapping.
Yeah. We also see a lot of gunplay. The game looks like it uses that simple white dot targeting from the previous Red Dead Redemption.
Which worked well. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it was
absolutely.
a good mechanic.
Yep.
That's about all we saw of gunplay, but they did say that in a future video, they'll be showing off a returning feature from the last game, the Deadeye system, which slows down time into bullet time and allows you to hit multiple enemies. It's so satisfying.
It's my favorite part. Yes. Okay, now let's talk about horses. They've gotten an overhaul in Red Dead Redemption 2 as well. There'll be different breeds that are suited to different tasks. In one scene, we see like a horse pulling a wagon. We see a character saying he's been looking for a decent workhorse. So definitely different kinds of horses with their own strengths and weaknesses.
And the bond with your horse will also be important and will change based on how well you treat it. In one scene, we see Arthur brushing his horse's coat, so it looks like you'll have some kind of grooming system to care for your horse and boost that bond.
As your bond with the horse grows, you'll see benefits, like it's easier to control during a gunfight. It won't flip out. We also saw another horse bucking wildly, which I assume is the result of like a weak bond with its owner.
Meanwhile, your saddlebags will serve as extra inventory space, allowing you to store extra weapons, supplies, animal carcasses, and the like.
Sweet. All right, so that's about all we've learned from this video, but Rockstar's got more gameplay on the way. In the next one, they say they're going to look at missions. In particular, we see Arthur participating in a train heist, as well as doing other activities like fishing and, of course, robberies.
And like we said earlier, they're also going to show us more about that Deadeye system, as we see a scene of Arthur Morgan taking out multiple enemies in very quick succession.
Nice. All right, so stay tuned. There is still a lot to come. It's going to be awesome. This is a great first look, but it sounds like they've got a lot to roll out between here and October.
I'm really excited to dive back in the world.
Yep.
What do you guys think about the first gameplay video of Red Dead Redemption 2? Anything cool you noticed? Anything we missed? Let us know in the comments.
And for all your Red Dead Redemption 2 news, be sure to like this video. If you're new around here, subscribe to the know.
And his escapades with the Dutch Vanderland. Dutch Vanderland.
Yeah.
Okay. And while we've seen a lot of trailers for Rockstar's latest release, they've all been about the cinematic variety, fleshing out the game's story about the outlaw Arthur Morgan and his escapades with the Dutch God damn it, this is gonna.
It looks harder than it is.
Yeah, I get it. Dutch.